and warrior family in Mecca. He was the son of Walid ibn al-Mughira, a prominent leader among the idolaters. Following the tradition in Mecca, Khalid ibn al-Walid, may Allah be pleased with him, was sent to live with a family in the desert after his birth, where he could grow up in a clean and healthy environment. At the age of 5 or 6, he returned to Mecca to live with his family. His father, who placed great importance on his son's upbringing, instilled in him values such as heroism, courage, and generosity, qualities admired by all Arabs. From a young age, Khalid was taught to take pride in his noble lineage, which was considered significant among the Arabs. Due to the duties carried out by his tribe, Khalid learned to ride horses and master the use of weapons like bows, arrows, spears, shields, and swords. He also trained in leading cavalry units and maintained a strong physique through physical activities. It is said that in his childhood, he wrestled with his peer, Umar ibn al-Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, defeated him, and even caused his leg to break. Khalid ibn al-Walid grew up in a warrior family, experiencing the harshness of the desert storms and learning the language of the stars and the hidden paths along mountain slopes. He was raised to be a warrior capable of carrying his father's legacy. Until he embraced Islam after the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, Khalid ibn al-Walid fought on the side of the Quraysh. After accepting Islam, he served under the command of the Islamic State. This is the story of Khalid ibn al-Walid, who found himself at a crossroads between two cities and two beliefs. 3 months after the Battle of Badr, Mecca held immense geographical and strategic importance. Even before Islam, it was the religious center for many Arab tribes, the intersection of trade routes, and the home of the Kaaba. This significance made Mecca even more valuable for the idolaters. As those who engaged in trade, they gained substantial political and economic power. However, the Muslims' victory at Badr dealt a heavy blow to the privileges of the idolaters. On the way back to Mecca, something unexpected happened. During his captivity, Khalid's brother Walid, may Allah be pleased with him, had the opportunity to learn about Islam and had embraced the faith. Angry at this revelation, Khalid confronted his brother saying, "If you've become one of them, why did you make us pay a ransom? Do you have no respect for the memory of our father? Look at the situation you've put us in. You must abandon this immediately." Walid replied, "I have already abandoned it, Khalid, and the more I let go, the more my inner voice guided me to this path. God willing, one day you too will let go." Khalid often spoke of fighting for his honor and lineage, while his brother Walid argued that such things were temporary. Muslims were forbidden from entering Mecca, but thanks to Khalid, Walid was the only one allowed to come and go freely, despite being a Muslim. Because of Khalid's influence, no one dared harm him, and Walid could enter and leave Mecca safely. According to the plan, Walid was to rescue 2 companions who had been held captive during their migration to Medina. However, Khalid had his brother thrown into the same prison as them. Khalid couldn't silence the conflicting voices within himself. A year had passed since Badr, and the Meccan army was once again preparing for war to seek revenge and secure their trade routes. The messengers of Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, soon delivered the news to Medina that the Meccan army was preparing for battle. After consulting with his companions, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, decided not to remain defensive, but instead to confront the Meccans at Uhud. At that time, battles in the Arabian Peninsula typically lacked strategic planning. However, Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, introduced a new vision to the region, delivering a decisive lesson to the Meccans at Badr. Yet, Khalid, reflecting on his experience at Badr, remarked, "I considered the possibility that they wouldn't be in Mecca. I witnessed their intelligence on the battlefield. Their victory wasn't by chance. They anticipated our moves and defeated us. With this in mind, Khalid devised a different strategy. When they arrived at Uhud, the Meccans numbered 3,000, while the Muslims were only 700. However, the Muslims had arrived earlier and positioned their forces strategically, giving them an advantage. The battle began, and Khalid left the main army to search for an alternative route. Eventually, he found a path behind Mount Ainain, but Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, having analyzed the area meticulously, had placed archers on the hill to secure the position. Suddenly, the archers appeared from the hill and began striking down Khalid's cavalry, making it clear that this was a trap. At that moment, the same intelligence that had been feared at Badr was once again evident. The battle was turning in favor of the Muslims. However, as the Muslims began rushing to collect spoils of war, the archers abandoned their positions on the hill. Seizing this opportunity, Khalid maneuvered his forces around the Muslims' rear and changed the course of the battle. The Muslims were surrounded on both sides, and the focus shifted from fighting to protecting the Prophet. Noble and warrior family in Mecca. He was the son of Walid ibn al-Mughira, a prominent leader among the idolaters. Following the tradition in Mecca, Khalid ibn al-Walid, may Allah be pleased with him, was sent to live with a family in the desert after his birth, where he could grow up in a clean and healthy environment. At the age of 5 or 6, he returned to Mecca to live with his family. His father, who placed great importance on his son's upbringing,